Good morning. I'm David Talbot, Managing Director and Head of Research here at Red Cloud Securities. I introduce our next speakers, Jim Paterson, Chairman and CEO, and Colin Smith, VP Exploration of ValOre Metals. The company has been rapidly growing its PGE project in Brazil, and it has a large high-grade uranium project in Nunavut as well we can't forget about. Gentlemen, you have about 10 or 12 minutes to present, and then if we have a few minutes at the end, we'll do a Q&A session. Attendees, please feel free to ask questions using the Q&A link. So go ahead, guys.
Hi, Dave. Thanks very much for having us. I shall launch right in. First of all, telling you a little bit about who we are. We have 10 companies in our group, an alliance called Discovery Group, and just gives you a background on the platform that we have. ValOre is a member company of Discovery Group, and this group has been able to attract great people, great projects, attract capital to those projects, and we have got several successful exits to our name. I encourage everyone to take a look at discoverygroup.ca for a bit of an update, and then you can actually click through to the individual companies to see. But what you see here is sort of a global presence, real focus on exploration and mining, and we've got some of the success and the track record to warrant investment in ValOre. We'll just talk about ValOre quickly. At today's pricing, it's a little over a 50 million market cap Canadian. Trading is pretty good this morning. We've had an announcement, so that's quite exciting. We trade under the symbol VO on the TSX Venture, a little over 20% insider holdings. And we've got a very strong board and very strong management team, including Colin on the call today. And then we have a lot of people that make the company very successful based on their experience. And you have a list there, in particular, mineral exploration, capital raising, M&A, legal, and jurisdictional expertise as well in the form of Luis Azevedo, and a really strong team to move the project that we have in Brazil and in Northern Canada forward. And on the ground in Brazil, we actually have a fully formed exploration team led by Colin in Canada, but a group of very young, passionate geologists that are moving the project forward. That project is called Pedro Branca. It's a palladium platinum project in northeastern Brazil, and the star represents where the project is, Ceará State, northeastern Brazil. Over here on the left, you see this picture of Fortaleza, which is the nearest city you would land in if you came to visit the project, in this beautiful international airport, port, and there's a little town from where we base our operations called Capitão Mor. It's around 1,000 people. You get there by driving along a paved highway, actually one of two choices. These two highways actually go right into the center of the country and pass by our claims, a very large claim block down here. And we're just getting started on the exploration. So I'll get Colin to take it from here to talk about Pedro Branca.
Thank you, Jim. Yeah, so there's been significant historical work in the project. One of the first things we did was calculate a maiden 43-101 resource. And as you can see there, it's a little over 1 million ounces, 2 PG plus gold. That's palladium plus platinum plus gold in grams per ton, with about 2-to-1 palladium to platinum ratio. One of the things we really like about the project, the nature of the mineralization is basically at surface or extremely shallow. So what we're looking at here is 3 of the 5 deposit areas that comprise the resource. The PGE assays are in pink down hole, and you can see these are at surface deposits. These are high grade for open pit style targets, and as you can see in these 3 deposits, mineralization comes to surface. It's the same case with the other 2. It's the same case with the exploration targets that we're currently drilling as well. So very compelling from a mining standpoint, very explorable, and great access through the project as well. In terms of what we've been up to, we've been very busy the past couple of years. We still have 2 drills turning as we speak at the project at one of the northern target areas. We've drilled a little over 13,000 meters in the last couple of years, about 1,800 meters, that was RC. We also have developed a very effective and efficient targeting and advanced methodology using a Trado auger drill, which is essentially a lawnmower engine on top of an auger. And it's used for geochemical sampling, but it's better than conventional soils because you can really drill deep. You can drill 15, 20, 30 meters deep if need be. And you get a very comprehensive sample. And it's led to some RC and core drilling discoveries as well. We follow up the Trado with trenching, and it's something that we've developed over the course of the last year, and we're now using this expertise property-wide.
And Colin, just as I'm shifting, or before I do, maybe just talk about the highlight hole that we released today, or the holes that we released today at Santa Mauro.
Yeah, no, good call, Jim. So Santa Mauro is the northernmost of the 5 PGE deposits within the resource. We're looking to expand upon that. We released 7 of 19 holes, 12 holes pending yet for assays. Highlight hole from today was 36 meters of 2.22 grams from about just over 40 meters depth. And so we're focusing really on understanding the geometry of the mineralized intrusion up at Santa Mauro. From that, we're really able to drill it off more effectively. And among some of the holes that are pending is just shy of 100-meter step out to the southeast from the current resource, where we intercepted about 110-meter interval of what looked to be very good rock. And assays are pending for that, but very excited at the potential for sure.
All right, and people can go to ValOreMetals.com and sign up for our news releases or read it right there on our website. Okay, moving along, now we have to go thousands of kilometers to the north. This is the Angalac property we're going to talk about. This is our uranium project in Nunavut, Canada. Large land package here, which is highlighted by these blue boxes, and effectively controlling the northern margin of this sub-basin to the Athabasca, but it's in Nunavut. And these red stars are actually significant discoveries that were made by previous operators or us, and they actually represent drilled mineralization. So not just rock samples or soil samples, but legitimate targets that have been drill tested by us. We start right now with about a 43 million pound resource at 0.69%, very high grade on a global basis. And that's actually just represented by these little orange squiggles. We've spent over $55 million in the project, and it's over several drilling campaign seasons, and we've actually done some metallurgy, which I'll talk about as well. But a really advanced project and totally flying under the radar. I'll get you to explain this one here, Colin.
Sure. Yeah. So again, if you see the little red lines, top left inset map, that's a denotation of the LAC 50 trend resource. The 3D block model is shown on the right there. And you can see the uranium grades are colored by scale. So the warmer the color, the hotter the grade. It's a very well constrained resource with over 60,000 meters of drilling. The company was able to expand upon the resource by 200% from 2011 to 2013. So as Jim said before, I mean, there's a plethora of targets within a stone's throw of the resource that just need a higher drilling density to be considered inferred. And there's targets really across the whole basin margin, which are resource worthy, but just require more work, more exploration to advance. So it's a very exciting project.
Let's jump in. So we're one of the few companies, we see Dave back, so the clock is running down here. One of the few companies out there that's actually done metallurgy. So we did that back in 2013 and 12 and 13 and got some really good results, high recovery. And it was characterized as a highly attractive yellow cake product by Chuck Edwards, who really knows his stuff. And then Colin, just kind of getting back to what you were saying, maybe just talk about the methodology before we go on to this next slide here.
Yeah. So I'll direct your attention to the left-hand map. It shows the same piece of ground just stacked with different data sets. And this is basically the targeting methodology we have employed to expand upon that resource and what we'll be using in the future to further expand upon that resource. First and foremost, geophysics. So VLFEM, you can see that the magenta lines there that go along the black line, which is the LAC 50 trend, those denote potentially uranium-rich conductors. So once those are defined, you then run soil, so geochemistry running perpendicular to those anomalies, those pink anomalies. As soon as you get a soil anomaly, you step down, dip, and drill it. And as you can see in the bottom map, that's the purple represents the current 43 million pound resource at LAC 50. The red shapes, those denote pre-resource targets in which, as Jim said, we've drilled, we've hit, we just don't have enough drill holes at this point to incorporate into the resource. So big focus going forward for sure.
Great. So now that you've explained how we do it and why we do it, maybe just talk about what we're doing right now.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So, I mean, we're a big focus on Angalac this year is targeting. So we have extensive databases, as we said before, almost 90,000 meters of drilling, extensive geochemistry, property-wide geophysics. We're adding to that this year with property-wide worldview spectral data, which is essentially fingerprint alteration and prospective geology mapping at the scale of a boulder, but across the regional land package. So we can use that in conjunction with the old data sets, which we're reprocessing. And once all the new data is together and reprocessed, we're going to be doing a full targeting exercise, not only for developing new targets, but also looking at where we can expand the resource. What are the, for example, top 10 drill targets we can engage right away when we get back up there.
And then on a comp basis, we have a table here. Actually, Red Cloud helped us put this together. So just by market cap, the name of the project, where it's located, the ownership, and so forth. And what you can see sort of on a per pound in the ground basis compared to market cap, you can kind of see where some of the names in the space trade. So some of the big guys like NextGen, Denison, Fission, and UX are trading at significantly higher rates in terms of per pound in the ground. And here's ValOre here on the right. And then as the exploration companies go as well, a lot of the companies that are actually out exploring for uranium haven't yet drilled resources. So these are pre-resource targets. So, pound for pound trading at less than our peers. However, it seems like we're going to start to close that gap pretty quickly here. That's the goal anyways. So catalyst for 2021, just to wrap up, we've got a lot of drill holes that have been sent off to the lab. So we've got lots of assays pending and further drilling from Pedro Branca. We're hoping to get out a inferred resource in first quarter of 2022. And then in the first half, we'll work on a PEA, delivering a PEA. And then from the Angelac property, we're slightly delayed due to weather in terms of the collection of the worldview data, but that's coming. And the full team is working on all the stuff that Colin was describing on that previous slide. So as soon as that's all done and compiled, we'll be presenting our findings in terms of targeting on the Angelac property, and then also working on maximizing value for that project in the current uranium market conditions. So Dave, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Great presentation. So we do have about 2.5 minutes left. So let's start at Pedro Branca here. You reported some high grade, very thick assays this morning. As you're moving to the east at Santa Amaro, that ultramafic target seems to be getting thicker, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's the easternmost resource hole is call it about a 60 or 70 meter interval. The hole in which we stepped about 95 meters to the southeast, Dave went through about 110 meter interval. The geophysics looks really good for us. Magnetics, geophysics, and magnetic anomaly is a very good sign. And we're following a nice mag trend that goes sort of inflects from going east-west to more southeast in that area. And we drilled right through it, and we sure enough hit a really thick, well mineralized looking interval. So assays are pending, but we're quite excited about the thickness over there, and it's still wide open to the southeast as well.
Yeah, when might we see assays there? Your turnover isn't too bad.
It's not too bad. They are seeing about 80% more samples this time of year than they are last year this time. So we're looking at probably another month for those assays, and as soon as we get them, we'll be getting into market for sure.
Okay, and you've expanded several of your 5 zones, and you found a couple more. When might we see a resource update? Expand on the 1 million ounces you have already.
Yeah, we're aiming for Q1 2022 for that date.
Okay, great. And very happy to see you getting back to work at Angelac. 43.3 million pounds is one of the larger deposits in Canada and one of the higher grades outside of the basin. Would you consider selling or optioning this project to another company to focus on your PGEs?
Well, we'll definitely talk to anybody who presents anything to us that's a legitimate offer and review it. I think the answer is we totally want to maximize value for our shareholders, and there's a seasonality component to Angelac, so it's not like doing a deal today would make drilling, for example, this month possible. So the season is spring, summer, fall for drilling at Angelac. So we have some time, and there's certainly a lot of interest. And the main thing for us is to ramp up activity levels and make more discoveries and expand those resources. So if it were in partnership with a different group or in the hands of a different group, it would just have to be the right group And as it stands right now, we're quite excited to get back to work there and really ramp things up next year. But there's lots of interest and lots of different ways perhaps to monetize that or unlock value at Angelac. And putting it into its own company is certainly something that we're reviewing and discussing because it seems to be a great interest.
Okay. Well, you certainly have shown you know how to expand resources up there. So, okay, with that said, thank you, Jim and Colin. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Up next, we have Canada Nickel.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.